Good morning, everyone. Beth Combs here with Canyon Community Yoga. Thanks for joining me for Tuesday morning's yoga class. Just want to double check and make sure my sound is working. So while I'm doing all of that, I did want to okay, sounds like it's on. Perfect. I pulled a card for us this morning. I know I haven't done that every single morning, but I just wanted to share that real quick. So this card I pulled is Prana, which you might not be able to see it all that well, but got kind of different lighting here this morning. And I actually pulled it in reverse. So the reading says, look at your breath and you are looking into your life. Is your breath shallow, quick, and contained, rather than deep, slow, and expansive? This is what is blocking prana from moving throughout your body. Your breath is a signal of how you are feeling, and when you breathe quick and shallow breaths, you are signaling to your body that you are in danger. Simply by breathing more deeply into your belly, you are calming down your nervous system and allowing more positive thoughts to come through. Transform your breath, and you will transform your life. And I just think that's a beautiful sentiment, and it's something that I really encourage people to focus on throughout their yoga practice and also throughout their life. I know for me, the times when I catch myself breathing in a shallow way and begin to breathe more deeply, that is when I'm able to kind of slow down or even remove that fight or flight response, and my body is able to respond accordingly. So I just encourage you to focus on that while we're doing our practice this morning. So we're going to go ahead and step over onto our mats and get started with our practice. I have a bolster to sit on. You can also sit on a block or a cushion from your sofa. Just whatever will. So the goal is to focus on getting your hips higher than your knees. I'll go ahead and start my watch so I don't lose track of time. There we go. I encourage you to sit up nice and tall, really root the sits bones into the mat or into your cushion. You're going to lengthen up the spine and out the crown of the head like you have a string pulling the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Try to keep the chin parallel with the mat. And also notice if you're kind of hunched forward. So see if you can really align your head with the back of your neck, with the tops of your shoulders. I know with my scoliosis, my head just tends to want to kind of round forward. So I'm constantly trying to see if I can get it to move back just a little bit. And we'll take 3 rounds of breath where we're going to inhale through the nose and then exhale out the mouth. Just releasing any tension from the day before, the night before, or even if you didn't sleep well, just kind of releasing any of that tension that's holding in your body. I think over the years I've begun to find more comfort in practicing rituals for myself. And I was listening to a video recently, and the person being interviewed, the discussion came about it was mostly focused on trauma and how um, you can't think your way out of releasing things like that. You have to release them through your body. And yoga really offers us the opportunity to really process the things that happen around us, happen to us, happen to our bodies, um, we can move our bodies and release that tension and that trauma. And so I really am happy to have you here this morning and encourage you as you set up your intention for today's practice, maybe consider using the breath, using the body movements we'll be doing to release whatever it is that is not serving you, from the past week, the past days, whatever it is your mind might be latching onto that it wants to continue processing over and over again. See if you can release some of that through your body. So we'll begin moving into our Ujjayi breath, which is where the exhale is gently stroking the back of our throat, kind of like ocean waves or Darth Vader breath. You can place your hands in your lap, or you can place your hands on your thighs, palms down. Or if you're feeling more receptive, maybe flip the palms to face the ceiling. And then we'll take a little um, twist here. So we're going to take the left hand and place it on the right knee. We're going to inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, rotate over to the right. With each inhale, see if you can get a little taller. With each exhale, see if you can twist a little bit more. Again, make sure you're twisting from your abdominals and not using your left hand to yank yourself over. Once you've gone as far as you can gaze over that right shoulder. And then we'll come back to center and we're going to change the cross of the legs. So we're not favoring one shin in front of the other. We'll inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, rotate to the left. So we've got our right hand on our left knee. Left hand is back behind us. I'm using a block. You could use the bolster. Inhale, sit up nice and tall. Exhale, rotate a little bit more. We'll inhale, we'll come back to center. Then we're going to move everything off the mat and we're going to come into our tabletop position. So wrists are lined up under our shoulders. We've got our knees lined up under our hips, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. And we're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow here. So we'll inhale the forehead and the tailbone up. Exhale, pull the belly button back towards the spine. Inhale to come up. Make sure you're really pressing into the thumb and the index finger so you're protecting your wrist. Inhale to come up. Exhale to pull back. And then take two more, following your own breath at your own pace. And then we're going to meet back in the center. And then we're going to take some hip circles. So we're going to drop the hips towards the heels and then bring them forward. And then we're going to switch directions. And then we'll come back to center. We'll set up for our abdominal warm up. So we're going to bring the right fingertips out in front. Left toes go back behind us. We'll inhale and start with the right arm alongside the right ear. On your next exhale, you can either leave the toes on the mat or you can lift the left foot up off the mat, pressing out from your hip. And we'll exhale, we'll come back to center. And then we'll switch sides. So left fingertips out in front, right toes go back behind us. We'll start off with an inhale. We're going to bring the left arm alongside the left ear. On your next exhale, you can either leave the toes on the mat, pressing through the heel, or lift the right foot up, press out from the hip. Pull the belly button in towards the spine, especially if you're feeling wobbly. Make sure you're pressing into the thumb and the index finger on the right hand so you're not sinking into your wrist. And we'll exhale, lower everything down. We're going to take a little shoulder stretch here. So we're going to plant the left hand flat on the mat. Then we're going to flip the right palm towards the ceiling and slide it underneath that left arm. So you want your left arm at a 90-degree angle, your elbow at a 90-degree angle, your right shoulder and your right side of your head are resting on the mat. And if you already feel a stretch just holding right here, that's okay too. You can also place a block underneath your shoulder if you need a little bit more support, or the cushion or the bolster. Just see if you can breathe into your upper back here. And then we'll inhale, we'll come back to center, and then we're going to switch sides. So right hand planted, left palm flips up towards the ceiling, slide that underneath the right arm. Again, make sure you've got a 90-degree angle with your right arm. Really breathing into that upper back in between the shoulder blades. Then we'll inhale, we'll come back to center. And then we're going to lower down for our child's pose. So you can bring the knees together and lower the torso down. Arms outstretched, forehead on the mat. Or you can widen the knees, the width of the mat, lower the torso down, tailbone down towards the floor. I like to use a block under my forehead and keep the elbows lifted, keep the arms active. Really reaching through those fingertips and reaching out the tailbone towards your heels. They don't have to touch, they just have to head in that direction. And then we'll come up and we'll go ahead and pull into our first downward facing dog of the day. So flip the toes onto the mat, pull the hips up and back towards the ceiling. Feel free to walk your dog out here, especially since it might be the first one of the day for you. Then we'll step the feet up at the top of the mat in between the hands. And we'll take a forward fold. Go ahead and bend your knees nice and deep here. Allow your torso to rest on the mat. Allow the top of your head to lengthen towards the floor. Maybe clasp the elbows and kind of sway from side to side. And then we'll sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. So we're going to do our sun salutations next. Inhale, sweep the arm. Oh, hold on. A little too close to the wall here. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, lower to tabletop, and then all the way to the mat. We're going to pull the tailbone towards the heels, and then we're going to inhale just our torso up into baby cobra. And then exhale, come back to tabletop, and then come back to downward facing dog. Again, feel free to pedal the feet out here. Feel free to bend the knees if your hamstrings are tight. Make sure the weight is even between your hands and your feet. So you don't want to be too far forward or too far back. And then we'll step the feet up at the top of the mat in between the hands. We're going to inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Feel free to bend the knees here a little bit as we inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. We're going to do that 4 more times. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, lower to tabletop, and all the way down to the mat. We're going to pull the tailbone towards the heels. We're going to inhale and lift the torso up to cobra. And then we're going to exhale, pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And you want to make sure the weight in your hands is mostly between your index finger and your thumb. That helps to protect your wrists. We'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. We'll inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. We've got 3 more here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. You can lower to tabletop or go through a push-up in chaturanga all the way down to the mat. Pull the tailbone towards the heels, press all 10 toes into the mat. Inhale the torso up to cobra or lift the legs for upward facing dog. And then exhale, pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. And you want to make sure you're squeezing your upper arms in towards your ears to protect your shoulders. Again, feel free to pedal the feet out here if your calves are tight, or bend the knees if your hamstrings are tight. Then we'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. We'll inhale and lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale the hands to heart center. Got 2 more here. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. We'll lower through tabletop or chaturanga all the way down to the mat. All 10 toes are pressing into the mat. Tailbone is pulling towards the heels. Inhale the torso up to cobra or lift the legs for upward facing dog. Exhale, pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. We'll step the feet up in between the hands at the top of the mat. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, sweep the arms up and around. And exhale to heart center. We've got one more here. And just to mention, if I'm going a little too fast, just go at your own pace, going through each of the stages of the sun salutation. If you are a little tired or shaky in down dog, you can always lower into child's pose. And you can always lower into child's pose at any time in the practice. So we'll inhale, sweep the arms up. We've got one more here. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the torso halfway up. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back, lower down to the mat, either through tabletop or chaturanga. Pressing all 10 toes into the mat, pulling the tailbone towards the heels. Inhale the torso up to cobra, or lift the legs for upward facing dog. And then exhale, pull the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Now we're going to pick the right foot a couple feet up off the mat, inhale, and then exhale, bring that foot in between the hands. You're going to lower the back knee down on the mat. If you've got blocks, you can place them on either side of your foot. And we'll start right here in a low lunge. If you'd like, you can bring your hands up to your bent knee. If you feel wobbly at all, you just pull your belly button in towards your spine a little bit more. Really engage those core muscles. If you'd like, you can sweep the arms up alongside the ears. Lengthen the tailbone towards the mat. Maybe take a back bend here. And then we will plant our right hand on our hip. We'll bring the left arm up alongside the ear and then fold over to the right, any amount. This is a great stretch if you've got any menstrual cramping going on. It helps to stretch out your psoas muscle. So we'll exhale, we'll plant the hands by the foot, the right foot, and then we're going to sweep that foot back. And we'll come into our downward facing dog once again. Then we'll pick the left foot a couple feet up off the mat. Inhale and then exhale. Plant that foot in between the hands. You can place the hands on either side of the foot. My arms are a little on the shorter side though, so I find the blocks actually help me get into my abdominals a little bit better. You could also use some thicker books or boxes that are pretty sturdy if you don't happen to have yoga blocks. Maybe bring your hands up to your bent knee if you feel pretty steady. And just check in. You want to make sure your left knee is tracking right over that left ankle. So go ahead and move your foot around if you need to make sure that alignment is there. Then we'll inhale, sweep the arms up alongside the ears, pull the tailbone towards the heels, maybe take a little back bend, or towards the floor, sorry. We'll plant the left hand on the hip, and then we'll fold over to the left with our right hand. Then we'll bring the hands back down onto the mat. We'll come back into, we'll take a child's pose here instead of a down dog. So you can keep the knees together and lower the forehead down on the mat, or you can widen the knees. So whatever your body would like this morning. And we'll just allow the arms to rest. They were pretty active on that last pose, so kind of giving the shoulders a little bit of a break. Tuning back into our prana, to our breath. We'll come back to our tabletop position. And then we're going to go ahead and sit down on our butts. We're going to swing our legs out in front of us. And then bend the knees. So we're going to come into our bridge pose next. If you've got a block, you'll want to place it in between your knees. And you're going to lay down on the mat. Your heels should be lined up pretty close underneath your knees. Your block is in between your thighs. And we're just going to do some dynamic stretching with our bridge pose. So our arms are extended, the palms are flat on the mat. We're going to inhale and lift the hips up, squeezing the thighs in toward one another. Exhale, lower back down to the mat. We're going to take that 4 more times. Inhale up, inhale the hips up. Exhale, lower the hips back down. Inhale the hips up. Really pressing into those heels. See if you can lift the toes up off the mat. Exhale, back down. Got 2 more here. Inhale the hips up. Exhale, lower the hips down. 1 more. Inhale up. Exhale, back down. And you can remove the block and then just pull the knees in towards the chest and rock from side to side. And we'll take a little twist here. So we're going to bring our arms out to a T. My bolster's kind of in my way right now. So do the best you can. I might actually do cactus arms just because of the space. We're going to fold the legs over to the right. If they can reach the floor, that's fine. If they can't, you can put the bolster or a block under your knees. Stretch your arms out to a T, palms down on the mat. Maybe gaze over that left shoulder. Then bring the head back to center. We'll bring the knees back up. And then we'll switch sides. So left knees over to, or knees go over to the left. Arms are out to a T, maybe goes over that right shoulder. Then we'll inhale, we'll come back to center. And then we'll just do some knee circles. Like we're drawing a circle with our knees on the ceiling. Then we'll switch directions. And then take any last minute poses you need. When you're ready, go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you for Shavasana. So you really want to pull the tail, kind of lengthen the tailbone along the mat. Turn the shoulder blades underneath you so they're nice and flat on the mat. So whatever position is most comfortable for you and your body, the goal is to sink into your mat, to really release that tension. Just like when we breathe in a shallow way, our body starts to think we need to be in fight or flight mode. For Shavasana, we need to be as relaxed as possible to allow our practice to integrate throughout our bodies. So if you need a pillow under your head, feel free to do that. If you need something under your knees because your low back is tight, you can place the bolster under your knees for that. We'll just be here for a few moments, allowing our practice to sink in. Palms are facing towards the sky. You could also bring your arms up to cactus arms if you want a little bit more of a stretch across your collarbone. Begin to lengthen your inhales and exhales. Roll over to your right side. Bring yourself up to a comfortable seated position. You can bring your hands together at heart center if you'd like. I hope that this practice has helped you to tune into your breath, to notice what your breath feels like and sounds like, and that you're able to use that to help be present in your body as you move into your day ahead. The compassion, the love, and the light in me honors the compassion, the love, and the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me this morning. Namaste. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great day. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.